Hey, this when I'm on here asking the question, is Jim Harbaugh purpose for going back to the NFL because he has unfinished business, or is because the NCAA is investigating University of Michigan? So the NCAA is, everybody knows, is bullshit. They come up with different shit on who they decide to lean on or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They don't really go after the people that's really doing the real scandals, you know what I'm saying? Like these shits about talking to a recruit at this certain time, and is a lot of gray area that they try to, like justify, and like, okay, it's protocol and all this shit, but you let this guy do this and you let that guy do this, but you can't do this and shit. But you gonna be like, well, I'm just trying to like make sure that it's a, competitive balance and shit like that. But it's like, that's not the case. So they pick and choose who they wanna throw under the bus, so to speak. So so Jim Harbaugh finds himself at a position where he been hot. Once everybody seen that he brought Michigan back, he been hot. He was hot last year. He could have found himself at a bunch of places. He could have got the Giants job. He could have got the Minnesota job. He could have got the Jacksonville job. You know what I'm saying? But he came back. So now this year, the openings that we probably see happening if he puts his name out there is of course is Denver, Carolina. Indy is a sleeper team, and then it's gonna be probably two more other teams that people didn't anticipate um a firing, like say Tennessee. Tennessee lost their GM, so we don't know if the new GM is gonna be with Mike Vrabel. You know what I'm saying? He might decide to want to get his own guy in there. You know what I'm saying? So he's gonna have some places that he can go to. You know what I'm saying? And he's a curious guy. Like when you looking from the outside, you know what I'm saying? He seems like a guy that likes to challenge himself. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't mind getting a team that's like garbage, that we'll say is garbage. Like, man, they a long way from being, you know what I'm saying, like a playoff team. But he finds a way to go to squads like that, and he turns them around. Like within the first 2 years, the second year they're in playoff contention and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So he has that. He knows how to build teams up. You know what I'm saying? And that's a great quality. You feel me? And then like his resume has shown that ever since he got into the coaching ranks. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't take him long. He just got to find the right team to go to. You know what I'm saying? And so Indy, I think, is a good place for him to land. You know what I'm saying? He can probably, they have a solid defense, even though the defense been giving up points the last couple of games. But they kind of they I ain't gonna say they quit, but they just, the offense ain't really gave them nothing for a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? But they defense was relatively solid for majority of the year. They got a solid running back that's gonna come back healthy. You know what I'm saying? If they could just figure out the quarterback, that team can easily get into the mix in the AFC South. Another team he can go to and definitely make a factor is Carolina. You know what I'm saying? If Tom Brady leaves Tampa Bay might have a pullback season. New Orleans still doesn't have a franchise quarterback. Atlanta doesn't have a franchise quarterback. So going to Carolina, who also has a solid defense, if you could just figure out the quarterback position, you could easily turn them into a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? Like they were like literally, if they would have won last week, they would have been in the playoff mix. So you can easily turn that team around. Carolina is a hotbed for football. You know what I'm saying? And like the owner, he's a little bit of impulsive, like like the other options that he can go to. He's gonna have to deal with one of them type of owners, but definitely he can turn Carolina around pretty instantly. You know what I'm saying? And there's gonna be a couple of teams that we didn't anticipate coming. Like we have to pay attention to the Arizona, how things play out in Arizona. People got to pay attention to what happens in the LA Chargers. You know what I'm saying? Like, do they make a good showing in the playoffs or do they get manhandled? You know what I'm saying? Like, the thing that not John, but Jim Harbaugh finds himself in is Sean Payton is the one that everybody's saying, oh yeah, you should go get Sean Payton and whatnot. And then also Denver. I ain't even mentioned Denver. Denver, you got Russell Wilson. Could he possibly fix Russell Wilson? They got a solid defense, good skill positions and whatnot. They just got to shore up the offensive line. But what I was gonna say about before I went off on that one was damn, what the hell was I about to say? Uh Yeah, he finds himself in a sweet position because Sean Payton is out there, but you gonna have to compensate New Orleans in order to get Sean Payton on your roster. You know what I'm saying? But with Jim Harbaugh, that's not the case. You can just sign him, who's a great head coach, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Well, not without having to give up no draft capital and whatnot. So really, the draft capital is what's gonna be help you, build your team, especially in these first 2 years. And especially since he had his hands in recruiting, he's going to be a little ahead of the curve. Definitely not going to be like a Urban Meyer type of deal because Urban Meyer kind of came into the league with too much cockiness and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Jim Harbaugh understand the league, understand it's hard. You got to work in order to be successful or whatnot. So I don't know. I'm thinking Indy and Carolina makes the most logical sense. You know what I'm saying? Like he could go to Denver, but the draft capital is kind of like it's kind of shaky for them first 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And you with Russ at least for this year. So I think that people got to pay attention to how things shake out in Carolina and Indy. And then like I said, there's gonna be a wild card team. Tennessee might be the wild card team, and then there's gonna be somebody else that was probably a playoff team that's gonna fire a coach and might the owner might be more intrigued with Jim Harbaugh than the coach they got. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. All right, thanks for listening.